So right from the get-go, guys, I'm going to tell you right now that this film, The Missing, is one of the most unique films I have ever had the privilege of looking at. So The Missing is a animated film. It's the first animated film from the Philippines that is being submitted for the 96th Annual Academy Awards. And I just happened to kind of get this sent to my inbox. It's my first ever screener. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Yes, I was sent a screener for this film. I was not paid in any way. I'm just reviewing this because I got a chance to check this film out, and I wanted to just give my honest thoughts on it. So the basic premise here is you have this boy named Eric who has no mouth, and the way he communicates is like with a little whiteboard, and you kind of find out through his past that he had an encounter with some aliens maybe, and how that's kind of been driving like this kind of fear in his life. And that's kind of where the main part of the movie is kind of centered around. And it's also about his relationship with his coworker slash a boy he's into named Carlo. And, they kind of go on this spiritual, emotional adventure together as they unravel this mystery from Eric's past. It's hard to talk about this film without spoiling it. And I don't want to spoil it for people because I think this is something that if you're into very unique, very off the beaten path type of movies, this is definitely going to be your thing. If you're more into the mainstream like Pixar's and just typical animated fare we get here in the States, then this might not be up your alley because it's a lot more adult than even I was anticipating. And because they definitely use some curse words. So this is not a kid's movie, despite it being animated. And we know nowadays, just because it's animated doesn't mean it's just for kids. But there is a lot here, and a lot to unpack in this movie, because, you have this character, Eric, who has no mouth, and you basically see their interactions with the world around him, and how does that work, and how does that function, and you have so many questions going on in your head. And as you're watching the film, you're kind of piecing together some things about what happened to Eric growing up, and what exactly is this alien he encountered as a kid, and how does that play into things that's going on with him as an adult. And it was actually a really well told story, in my opinion, a very emotional story too at its core. It's got some flaws, I'll admit that, and the animation style is hit and miss at times. I think from the onset I like the animation style. There's just a few bits here and there throughout the film that I think the animation could have had a little more work to it, but I get it. It's a lower budget film. It's they're not gonna have the backing like a film from the U.S. would, but I still think this is a admirable effort, and definitely something I would still recommend to people, because from top to bottom this has got so much good stuff going for it. The voice cast is pretty good. I obviously never heard of any of these actors in the cast who play Eric and Carlo and Rosalinda, but they all do fantastic jobs. Kudos to them. The director here is Carl Joseph Papa, so he also wrote the film. So clearly I feel like this story is a very personal one to them, and I think from that perspective it made it even the more interesting to kind of think about afterwards, because it sat with me for a while. I watched it a day ago, and here I am talking about it now, and it's taken me a day to kind of process it and to kind of go through my feelings of the film. And at the end of the day, I'm getting to a point where it's like I really did dig this film, but it is not flawless. Like I said, animation, while good in a lot of spots, definitely a few spots I feel like, and I don't know if it was a stylistic choice. This is just a personal thing for me. There's just a couple of scenes where I was like, well, maybe the animation could use some work there. And it's not because they do a couple of animation styles. There's the main style for present day part of the movie, and then they do a different animation for the flashbacks, the alien stuff, which I'm all well and good with. That's not what bothered me. There's just a few little segments that I was like, could use some work. I really hope people get a chance to find this. I hope it, they're submitting it for the Oscars. I hope it gets a nomination. I haven't seen all the international stuff that's been sent to the Oscars. It's always stiff competition, so the best of luck to this film team for getting it out there. And I don't know how exactly people are going to be able to go and find this film, on VOD or whatever, if it's going to end up playing in the States in some theaters or not. I don't know, but if this sounds like something that's up your up your alley, definitely keep an eye out for it, and hopefully you get a chance to see this, because I do think this is something that, while I might not give it as high a grade as I think some other people would, I'm still gonna, at the end of the day, give this thing a very solid B plus. I did dig this. I had a great time watching it. And one other flaw, if I had to give one to this film, while I think there's so much good stuff between, I think it's a great, unique story. I think the voice acting is good. Music was good. I think the editing could have used a little. It's an hour and 30 minutes, so it's like right at the perfect length, I think, for a lot of people. But for me, I think it could have just been tightened up, even just slightly, maybe 5 or 6 minutes, maybe. I don't know where you would cut it, but I feel like maybe it could have just been tightened up just a smidge more, and it probably would have flowed a lot better for me, because I did find at times it dragged a little bit. Something, or nothing really seemed to be going on. We kind of treaded water for a little bit, but that's just me. And again, B plus. That's not a bad grade, right? But what do you guys think? Are you interested in seeing this film? Have you even heard of this film? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys could please hit the like button, subscribe button, little bell notification to be notified whenever I drop new videos, it would be greatly appreciated. And thank you to the people of this film for sending me a screener. Again, never had that happen before, so that was a cool experience. And I wanted to let you know that I enjoyed your film. And hopefully I, by giving it a B plus, did not make you upset. So, best of luck in submitting it to the Oscars, and I'll be rooting for you. And until the next review, guys, I'll be seeing you.